Thomas Frank has a massive problem on his hands. This Tottenham team that we have currently will be lucky to finish in the top half of the Premier League season. Now, clip that, do whatever you want with that, and tell me anything different because after that shocking performance against Bayern Munich on Thursday night, please tell me that I don't have much sense because what was that? Honestly, what was that? Bayern Munich have played. They've been on holiday for what, the last 4 weeks, 3 weeks, obviously, after the Club World Cup. We've had a full preseason. They've played one preseason game, which was what, a couple days ago, and they absolutely battered us. Honestly, and I say this now, not to be reactionary, with all the genuine Spursiness in my mind, this Tottenham team currently will be lucky to finish in the top half of the Premier League. Now, let's go back to what, 2 months ago, whenever it was, Daniel Levy sat down with Vinay Venkatesan and said on camera in 4K, he said, I want to win the Premier League. I want to win the Champions League. Since then, we've loaned out about 15 youth players. Obviously, I'm not expecting the youth players to be outstanding players, but still, we've sold our club captain has been at the club for 10 years, been scoring nearly 200 goals for the club and so many assists. We've lost our most creative player, James Maddison. Dejan Kulusevski's injury's been pushed back and it's looking like he's going to be out for a long period of time. Where else do I go? Honestly, we're finished. We're absolutely finished. We finished, I say this video in, video out, so I'm sorry if you guys are getting bored of hearing this, but we finished 17th in the Premier League last season. Now, yes, obviously we are not the 17th worst team in the Premier League, but the fact that we finished 17th in the Premier League last season, and we have added Mohamed Kudus, Kota Sakai, who we haven't even seen kick a ball, has got some plantar fascia injury, so he's going to be out for God knows how long, and João Paulinho on loan. Honestly, it's absolutely ridiculous. Yes, some people want to throw Matthias Tell and Kevin Dancer, and guys, give yourself your heads a wobble. Some people, I've even seen people try and say we signed Luka Vuskovic this season. He came in 2 years ago. Kevin Danso was a loan with an obligation to buy in January, so we signed him in January. Matthias Tell was on loan in January, but if anyone remembers Ange's press conference, straight after he sold, he said something like, I wouldn't have brought him in if he wasn't here for the long term. So Matthias Tell was always going to be staying at Tottenham. And to be finishing 17th, we brought in a player in Mohamed Kudus that finished, 15th in the Premier League last season. Yes, obviously he's a decent player, but come on. And a player that couldn't get into the Bayern Munich team. Obviously, yes, I know Bayern. Look at what Bayern done to us. So the level's above. But come on, what, you're expecting that to help us win the Premier League and help us win the Champions League? And the injuries are absolutely killing us because Dom Solanke, remember, has played 45 minutes this preseason. He was meant to be fit for the Newcastle game, which was Son's last game. And if not the Newcastle game, then he was meant to be fit for the Bayern game. Wasn't fit for either of them two. So we already got our medical issue problems that we had last season. We're now relying on Richarlison / Matthias Tell, who is not a striker, to be our striker. And as morbid as this sounds, as pessimistic as this might sound, but I would put my mortgage that Richarlison will not stay fit for the whole season. So you're telling me we might go, Richarlison could break down in the next couple of weeks, and then that means we're now relying on Matthias Tell as our number 9, who is not a number 9. We've got Brennan Johnson and Wilson Odegaard as left wingers. Come on, like the team is. We finished 17th last year, and we're weaker than we were last year. So, what does that mean? You know, in the words of Mick McCarthy, it can get much worse. And honestly, man, it's just so jarring. Like, how jarring is it that, as I said, I've said this plenty of times as well. I just sound like a broken record. I just sound like I feel like I'm repeating myself all the time. But the season hasn't even started, And I'm ready to say, just get the season done with already. Like, you always go, normally you go into the season with a bit of optimism and saying, yeah, we got a chance. Maybe we got in a cup run. But not only have we sacked the manager that brought us our first trophy in 17 years after telling us he was going to win the trophy, by the way, we've sacked him. We've got rid of our captain. We've got injuries all over the shot as well. We've got rid of the most Mikey Moore and the most promising youngster in the team. We're loaning young players left, right, and centre. We're finished. We can't sell play. Honestly, we are finished. We are finished. The season's not even over. And the team that we beat in the Europa League final, if anyone needs reminding of, Manchester United, who are now playing one game a week, who finished what? 15th, 16th. I don't even know where they finished in the Premier League last season, but not too far from us. They have signed Cunha and Buemo, Benjamin Sesko. Now there's talks about Donnarumma and Baleba, and that's the team that we beat in the cup final that told the whole world that they had no money and they're spending ridiculous dough. And so they're going to be levels above us. Let's not even talk about the teams in the top four, the likes of Liverpool, Man City, obviously that team down the road that everyone wants to banter, but still the team that are moving more serious than us in the transfer market, obviously that being Arsenal. And then that other team from London, Chelsea, who, yes, spend ridiculous amount of dough and teams always want to banter them. Oh, Chelsea are just signing everybody, but they are making moves. Everyone is making moves except from Tottenham Hotspur. All these teams are levels above us anyway, and they're kicking on even more. And then you got the teams that weren't even levels above us are still kicking on ahead of us. So we are finished. This is what I'm saying. We've brought in, with all due respect to Thomas Frank, yes, he's a very lovely guy, but we've brought in a manager that, what was his highest Premier League finish? 9th. So if he could do that, I mean, is that what we're aiming for? 8th, 9th in the Premier League? Like, going on current transfer activity, that's what we're going to have to do. And honestly, it's absolutely disgusting. The fact that we're on Saturday now, for anyone that's not watching us on Saturday, it is Saturday today. We play PSG in the Super Cup on Wednesday. We are not going to sign any more players. And even if we are going to sign any players, they're clearly not going to play, maybe be on the bench. So we're going into the Super Cup against the best team in the world. I know, obviously, yes, Chelsea beat them in the Club World Cup, but let's be honest, PSG are the best team on the planet who have got talent in abundance. And we're playing them with this squad, honestly. Look at what Bayern Munich done to us, and imagine what PSG could do to us. It could be 4, it could be 5, it could be 6, it could be 7. And if it's 7, we already start the season on the back foot. And as I said at the start, when Thomas Frank was appointed, if we don't back him properly and then he gets battered at PSG, he's already behind the pressure. Because let's be honest, a lot of Spurs fans didn't want Ange Postecoglou to go. And me personally, I was saying just give him the last run, give him the last year of his contract, see what happens, sack him in the middle of the season if you have to. Because how can Tottenham Hotspur not be able to take Brentford's manager midway through the season? Like, come on, make that make sense. You should have just given Ange that time. But if we have sacked Ange Postecoglou to bring in Thomas Frank, and Thomas Frank gets absolutely battered in his first competitive game, he's behind the 8 ball. Then we go into Burnley. Then we've got Man City. Honestly, like, guys, it could be a tough start. And honestly, you just got to feel it for Thomas Frank, because does he even make it through the whole season? Like, I'd love to say he does, but let's be honest, fan pressure is massive. And Thomas Frank, with all due respect to Brentford, has never experienced the type of criticism that he's going to get as Tottenham manager when he was at Brentford. And that can make or break a man. Like, honestly, Tottenham are in a very, very bad place. And even if we do sign players, what's the date now? The 9th of August. So what, we got about 3 weeks left of the transfer window, maybe a bit more. But even if we do sign players, it's not enough. Like, why have we waited for the season once again to start before we're addressing these issues? And even if you look at a Morgan Gibbs White deal, yes, it did look like a good deal, but there was no backup for him. So he signed a new deal, and it's just like, oh, what do we do now? Like, it's just absolute lackadaisical. awful from Tottenham once again. We always do this. I'm just, I'm just getting more and more frustrated. So I'm feeling to just lock off this video right now. But you guys let me know what you think as well, because am I overreacting, or are Tottenham really in the mud? Because yeah, honestly, we're killing ourselves. Not us, because obviously we would love to be alive, but the board once again are killing ourselves. You just look at and obviously another boxing match has just been announced at Tottenham Hotspur on the back of it already being here this season. Every single band and their dog has performed at Tottenham Hotspur this summer. So what? We don't have any money. Remember every journalist telling us that we had Middle Eastern investment. Where's that gone? And honestly, I'm going, because I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered to talk about this Spurs team anymore. I left it a couple of days to do this video because I wanted to cool down properly, but yeah, honestly, I hope we do something before PSG. But as I said, Spurs are not going to bring a player that goes straight into the starting lineup at PSG anyway, so this is the team we've got. Dom Solanke's obviously, if he's going to be on the bench, maybe, but I don't like he's played 45 minutes of preseason anyway, so we're relying on Richarlison, who, as much as I love Richarlison's work rate and his attitude, he's not going to take us forward. We got no creativity. We're relying on 19-year-old Lucas Bergvall, 22-year-old Papsar, who's more of a 8 than a 10. Relying on Brendan Johnson, Wilson Odebeck, Matthias Tell. Honestly, it's just so depressing. Honestly, it's so depressing. But you guys let me know what you think as well. Please smash like, subscribe. If you're a rival fan, just banter me in it. Just do whatever you got to do, and we'll be back. Peace and love.